Introduction. Call Me First, a man's blueprint for true leadership at home. Let me say this to you straight up. You didn't pick this book up by accident. Something in the title hit you. Maybe because deep down, you know you were meant to be the one your family calls first. Not their last resort, not their backup plan, but the first voice they trust when life gets real. Now, I'm not here to give you a bunch of polished ideas or tell you what kind of man you should be. I'm here to talk to you like a man who had to build it from scratch, brick by brick, and no manual, no shortcuts. I know many men are silently struggling. They look calm on the outside, but on the inside, they're overwhelmed. Maybe nobody ever taught you how to lead at home, be a present father, or communicate with your mate without sounding cold or angry. I know I didn't grow up watching perfect leadership. I had to learn the hard way. As a result, I encountered real pain, real mistakes, real consequences. So no, this book is not full of theories, but of truth. So this is for the man who's tired of feeling expendable, for the man who provides everything and still feels unseen, for the husband who wants to lead but doesn't know how to say it, for the father who wants to break generational patterns but keeps getting pulled into the same cycles. If any of that sounds like you, I get it, because I was you. And that's exactly why this book exists, to give you real answers from one man to another. I'm not writing this as some polished success story. I'm still learning, still growing, but I've come far enough to turn back and help the next man avoid a few of the mistakes I made. Consider this your mirror. Being the man they call first ain't about ego. It's about responsibility and emotional strength. It's about being so dependable, so solid, so consistent that when your family feels like the world is falling apart, they reach for you. And when that happens, when your wife looks at you and doesn't flinch because she knows you've got it, when your kids know you'll show up no matter what, when your name is the first one they call when things are going wrong, that's a different kind of pride. Nothing arrogant about it, just a silent strength that announces your presence and lets everyone know you were made to handle everything thrown your way. You don't need to agree with everything I say, but if you're the kind of man who wants to lead with integrity, protect what matters most, and stop letting your past control your future, then you're in the right place. That's what this book is about. It's not about being perfect or pretending. It's about becoming, transforming into the kind of man who stops running from his own growth. There is value in every page, but only if you're honest enough to apply it. You're going to read some things that hit home for you and others that hurt. At some point, it may even feel like I've been sitting in your living room watching parts of your life unfold that you never talk about. That's intentional, because if nobody ever told you what being a man really requires, I'm telling you now. This is not about gender roles, but instead your role. It's about teaching you what it means to be the anchor of your home, the one who sets the tone, the leader who always sets an example, the one they look up to, even when you think they're not paying attention. I titled this book, Call Me First, because that's the attitude real men carry. It's not loud or cocky. It's just an innate confidence that says, whatever it is, bring it to me. We'll figure it out. Now, look, this is going to challenge you. It's going to show you where you're slipping, where you're settling, and where you've been making excuses. But it's also going to equip you with the tools you'll need to become the man your wife depends on and your kids admire. So, if you're ready, if you're tired of pretending and ready to lead in a way that you were always destined to, then flip the page. We're not wasting any more time. There are too many people counting on you. Let's make sure you're ready anytime you say, call me first. Chapter 1. The leader you want to be starts with what you must let go. You don't just wake up one day and become a leader, especially not the kind your family respects, your woman trusts, and your kids want to follow. Leadership isn't a title, it's a lifestyle. And believe me when I say, I had to unlearn a whole lot of what I thought a man was before I figured out how to lead like one. For a long time, I thought being a man meant staying guarded, never showing weakness, never letting anybody get too close. That mindset came from how I was raised and what I saw. You learn to survive, not to feel. You're taught to keep your emotions tucked away. I didn't grow up in a house where leadership was explained to me. Nobody taught me how to be disciplined enough to manage my emotions or lead with intention. I did what I thought was necessary to survive. I felt pressure and immediately saw aggression, survival, and frustration. I thought controlling everything made me a man. Unfortunately, like a lot of other men I know, I interpreted that as normal. I can admit to you that it worked, but it didn't work consistently. It only proved to be best when I needed a quick response or when disrespect had to be handled in the moment. It worked when I needed to show everyone that I wasn't the one to be played with. But in a home, in a marriage, in a fatherhood, that version didn't hold up well at all. Please don't get it misunderstood. Peace isn't a weakness. Being calm under pressure isn't soft. It's actually a mark of real strength. You can't bully your way into respect. You have to earn it. You can't bulldoze your way into trust. You have to cultivate it. There is no way you can expect to build a legacy with people who are walking on eggshells around you. I got praised for being the one who kept things together, the one who stayed tough, but nobody told me that being emotionally unavailable would make it hard to connect with people who needed me the most. Nobody warned me that I would carry the same survival instinct into relationships and fatherhood, and that it would slowly tear things apart. I had to unlearn that. You see, unlearning is harder than learning, because when you're learning something new, you know you're starting fresh. But when you're unlearning, you have to tear down what you built and admit that the foundation wasn't solid to begin with. And if nobody ever told you that, let me be the first to say, your leadership begins when you stop reacting like a boy and start responding like a man. You don't become a strong man by adding more. You become strong by letting go of the lies that never served you in the first place. That shift right there, that's where everything changes. Early on, I thought I was leading. I was paying bills. I was showing up. I was present. But emotionally, I was still a boy reacting to everything around me. I was very quick to defend myself and extremely slow to listen. I wanted to be respected, but I didn't know how to earn it without demanding it. I thought love was enough to carry a relationship, but I didn't understand that leadership means carrying weight, not just feelings. I had to face the truth. I wasn't really leading. I was controlling. I was defensive. I was inconsistent. That realization didn't come overnight. It came through mistakes and misunderstandings, through watching the people I loved pull away emotionally without knowing why. If you're in that space right now, don't ignore it. The moment you notice your woman going quiet, no arguing, no yelling, just quiet, you better pay attention. That silence isn't peace, it's distance. And your kids, they don't care what car you drive. They care if you remember what time practice starts. They care if you show up to the game, if you help with homework, if you sit there and just be there. That's leadership. If your kids are watching you right now, please understand you're the first example of a man that they'll ever know. They don't just learn from what you say, but also how you move. They pay attention to how you interact with their mother and how you treat strangers. They absorb your mannerisms when you're angry. They take note of how you handle the pressure when the world as they know it is seemingly falling apart. They are always watching. And whether you like it or not, your habits become their default settings. If we don't change our blueprint, we hand them the same broken tools we were given. And truthfully, some of us weren't handed anything at all. We had to guess what leadership looked like. But what if we stopped guessing? What if we stopped surviving and started building? What if we stopped trying to be the man our boys in the streets respect and choose to become the man our son wants to become and our daughter knows she can trust? That's what this is about. Most of us quit the moment things get uncomfortable, not because we're weak or lazy, but because nobody taught us how to push through emotional pain. We were taught to keep working, keep grinding, and hide your emotional struggles from everyone, including ourselves. So the moment a conversation starts to dig beneath the surface, we freeze. The moment a woman says, we need to talk, we shut down. The moment our child says, you weren't there, we defend ourselves instead of listening. And that's the root of the problem. The truth is, at some point, if and when you decide to make a change and start improving your relationship with yourself first and then the people around you, you will need to take accountability for the roles you played. Then and only then can you do things differently. I can help you do exactly that. Everything you're about to read is real. These are not theories or empty ideas. These are the lessons I've lived through, the battles I fought, the mistakes I had to learn from the hard way. I know where you are because I've been there. I know the pressure you feel because I've carried it. I know the frustration because I lived it. And I also know the way through because I made it out. And I'm giving you that way in these pages. Before you worry about being a good leader, you have to learn how to master every part of yourself. Each thought, each emotion, each reaction. Believe me when I say nobody's going to follow a man who can't lead himself. People can feel when you're faking it. Your friends and family know when you're mentally checked out or emotionally unavailable. But if you keep following the lessons in this book, if you lean into the process and actually apply what you learn, you will come out stronger. You will come out wiser. You will come out as the man your family can respect and trust. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to be willing to learn. You don't have to carry everything. You just have to stop dropping what matters the most. And if you dropped the ball before, that's okay. I've dropped it plenty of times. What matters is whether you pick it back up or let your pride block your progress. Follow the stories, follow the plans, take in the lessons. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's brighter than you think. This book is written for the man who wants to change but doesn't know how. If that's you, you're in the right place. And if you're ready, this will be your turning point.